So, top 10s. They seem to be a lot of fun and very popular on the interwebs.
So when Remington and I were thinking about what our first top 10 video should be, we thought it should be our top 10 favorite Mega Evolutions.
And that's what we are bringing you today.
There are some things to keep in mind though. First, while we will touch on the competitive aspects of these Pokemon, competitiveness wasn't necessarily the main reason for putting on this list. Most of them are on here based on their designs.
Second, these aren't in order of the best Mega Evolutions. As Raden said, this is kind of just our opinions.
Which means it'll probably differ from yours, so don't be angry if your favorite isn't on here. We can't fit 48 Megas into 10 slots without a ton of ties.
Yeah, and that would kind of make the video a little boring.
Alright, enough stated. Let's get going.
So when X and Y were released, fans discovered there were many more Mega Evolutions than there were revealed.
In fact, only half the Megas in X and Y were revealed prior to the game's release.
One of these ones that were discovered was Mega Agron.
Agron is a fantastic Pokemon on its own, and one of my personal favorite Steel types. It has a terrifyingly awesome design, and powerful moves like Iron Head and Head Smash.
But when Agron goes Mega, it becomes even more terrifying.
It also puts on a lot of weight. Like, a lot of weight. Enough to give it the whopping base 230 defense and the ability Filter, which drops super effective moves by 1/4.
But this thing is way more than just a Super Shuckle. It also gets an attack stat of 140, which is very high, and it also gets a not too shabby 80 special defense.
Finally, Mega Agron is the only Mega Evolution to lose its secondary typing, losing Rock type in favor of being a pure Steel type.
This actually works to Agron's advantage because it now has no double weaknesses.
But it is also a bit of a curse because it no longer gains stab off of moves like Rock Slide, Stone Edge, or Head Smash. And Head Smash is kind of why I like regular Agron as much as Mega Agron. Regular Agron hits way harder with Head Smash and Recoil, Rock Hit.
To sum it up, Mega Agron is one of the best walls in the game, but it isn't too much of improvement on regular Agron.
But with a sick design, and a special spot in my heart as being a current member of my current quote-unquote VGC team, and Mega Agron just being useful in general, it gets a spot on our list.
You know, I think we both really like terrible Megas.
Wow, only one of them, really.
But that doesn't mean that it isn't cool in its own way.
Ladies and latents, please meet Mega Houndoom.
Houndoom is already a fantastic Pokemon, being able to have a wide variety of moves, and also has very good stab moves, like Fire Blast, Dark Pulse, and Flamethrower.
But when it goes Mega, it turns into one of the best designed Mega Evolutions, period.
Houndoom really went for the Hellhound here.
And if you're referring to the dog, it is not swearing to clear anyone who thinks this is still a kid-friendly channel. It is.
Thanks for keeping me clear. So what is a Hellhound?
Kerberos from Greek and Roman mythology. If only Houndoom got 2 more heads like they speculated in the fan art, then it probably would have been even more impressive as a Mega.
That and had a better ability.
Okay, yeah, I'll admit. His ability is definitely below par. Solar Power, not a great ability for Mega Houndoom.
So, if we were to change it, what would we give him?
I don't know. Personally, I think it'd be good to have another fire-related ability. Maybe Drought, Flash Fire, or I think my pick would have been Flame Body.
Yeah, for me it's either Drought or Flame Body. I am leaning towards Drought though, for some reason. But anyway, stat-wise this thing doesn't disappoint. It has a base special attack of 140 and a base speed of 115.
And considering those high sweeping stats, it's not too bad that he has base 90 in defenses.
That's not shabby at all.
So while Houndoom may not be the best Mega in battle, it's still one of the most fantastically designed Megas, and that's why we put him on here.
Now his fires will burn your soul, which he will then drag to his overlord Hades.
A, it's Pluto. B, you're creeping me out. I think we should move quickly.
Here we come to the only Mega Evolution on this list used by a villain, so that narrows it down a lot.
Gyarados is great with the stat boost, and Camerupt is deadly with Sheer Force, but neither are on here, so that only leaves one.
I get it, but whatever, it's Sharpedo.
When Sharpedo Mega evolves, he becomes super slick looking, with the tribal look going on.
But what are good looks without good battle properties? Sharpedo gains the ability Strong Jaw, which boosts the powers of biting type moves by 50%.
Basically, a stat bonus to Sharpedo's biting moves like Crunch, Ice Fang, Bite, Poison Fang, and some others, but he doesn't learn them, so we don't care about them. And those biting moves he can use well due to his brand new base 140 attack stat.
Since you mentioned it, the stat distributions are very similar to Mega Absol.
The difference? Sharpedo gets a tad bit of defense. Okay, it's like minimal defense boosts that are kind of non-existent. And in favor of not as much speed compared to Mega Absol. But whatever. He also gets special attack boosts as well, and like a 10-point speed boost.
But there is one big glaring reason that Sharpedo makes it here, and this is the final battle against Archie.
While Lysander had a really cool sun background and Maxie had the inverse volcano, Archie had a really awesome whirlpool that I actually feel fit the song really well. Which, by the way, is the song you're hearing right now.
That Cyclone looks amazing, and the epic music made this one of the most amazing fights. And with Sharpedo appearing in a Cyclone that seems very natural for it, it definitely had to make our list.
So here is one of two ties, and this isn't a two-way tie, or a three-way tie. It's a four-way tie. And just by saying that, all of you know what it is already.
Presenting Venusaur, Charizard, and Blastoise.
And yes, he did mean to say Charizard twice. Let's go ahead and address the Charizard issue first. Due to its insane popularity and obnoxious fanboys, Charizard has two forms, cleverly named Charizard X and Charizard Y.
The Charizard Y gets a huge special attack and speed boost, along with the ability Drought.
Which means the only threatening weakness to him is electric, as he can demolish rock and water types with Solar Beam in one turn.
Charizard X, on the other hand, is everything a fanboy could ask for.
Looks shiny all the time, gets blue fire, makes Charizard a dragon type finally.
Wow, what a fan base.
Yeah, but we still have X's stats. X gets a massive boost to attack, special attack, and speed, as well as the ability Tough Claws, which makes moves like Outrage and Flare Blitz have base 160 power due to a 33% boost for all moves that make contact.
And with Stab, both now have a base of 240 power.
Mind blown.
It's insane.
But hey, we still have Venusaur and Blastoise. Hey, it's Venusaur again!
What?
You never heard of Venusaur?
No.
Episode 20, Ghost of Maiden's Peach. Ghastly decides to summon a fake Venusaur and Blastoise to battle Ash's Bulbasaur and Squirtle. And then, just for the fun of it, I'll combine the two of them to make Venusaur.
Why did I even ask? Let's just talk about Megas.
Yeah, that is the topic of the video.
So let's start with Venusaur, which is now one of the best grass-type walls in the game. It gains the ability Thick Fat, which halves the damage taken from ice and fire-type moves,
leaving him only weak to Psychic and Flying, which it can easily counter with its high defenses, which now reach base 123 for physical and base 120 for special defense.
This means that Venusaur now acts like a very, very good wall.
It also went to the Torterra school of how to be a cool fully evolved grass starter, growing a canopy on its back.
Didn't Torterra go to the Venusaur school of said coolly evolved, fully grass-type starters?
I don't know. Maybe. Probably.
Can we move on to Blastoise now?
Sure thing. So Blastoise, at least to me, is the coolest looking Kanto Mega Evolution, at least for the starters.
The Pokemon also gets a really cool new ability called Mega Launcher, which it shares with the Quowitzer line.
Basically, this gives a stab bonus to all the non-flying moves that hit non-adjacent foes in triple battles.
AKA Water Pulse, Dark Pulse, Heal Pulse, Dragon Pulse, and Aura Sphere.
The only one of those moves Mega Blastoise can't learn is Heal Pulse, so while the strategy is predictable, it's still loads of fun to use. And for reference, that strategy usually ends up being Aura Sphere, Ice Beam, Water Spout or Water Pulse, and like Protect or one of the other moves that we just mentioned.
Exactly, and he can use those moves well thanks to his massive special attack boost, which is now base 135, and its best stat.
It also gets a new base 120 defense and an upgraded base 115 defense.
So Raden, of these three, which is your favorite?
We made it a tie because we couldn't decide, remember that?
Right. I guess let's move on.
So in Generation 1, there were a lot of ghost types to choose from.
It was the Gengar line, and then the other Gengar line, and then the Gengar line, and then the Ghastly line, and then the Gengar line, and the Hunter line, and don't forget
The Gengar line. So it's no surprise that Mega Gengar would be a thing when Mega Evolutions were released.
Mega Gengar becomes an even more terrifying glass cannon, with a base 170 special attack, the highest of all ghost and poison types.
He's more than just a poison-type flavor of Chandelure, he also has a base 130 speed, allowing him to speed tie with Crobat.
Combine that with his base 80 defense and his base 90 special defense, and he becomes a very threatening ghost type.
Gengar also gets the Shadow Tag ability, which, while it does gain a weakness to ground, also means that you can get your opponent locked into a Pokemon that can't do much against Gengar, and then you are set. Or you can just be a huge troll and do a Perish Trap.
This is also why Mega Gengar was banned, as anyone going against this Pokemon is prey to a sick Pokemon.
Okay.
Which is why Gengar makes our list.
Now every Pokemon generation has at least one pseudo-legendary.
We say at least because Gen 3 gave us 2. Metagross, and the 5th place entry on this list, Salamence.
While many Pokemon fans thought if Salamence got a Mega, he would be Mono Dragon type.
But instead, he went to his Bagon roots and took to the sky even more, gaining the ability Aerial, which on top of turning normal type moves into flying type moves, gives them a 50% boost on top of stab, aka makes Hyper Voice broken.
Which makes all of these moves amazing.
It also looks amazing, though it does remind me of the symbol of the Rebel Alliance.
What?
You know, if you view Salamence from the top, it looks like the symbol from the Rebel Alliance in Star Wars.
Okay.
Whatever, let's keep moving.
What else is there to say?
Stats, like base 145 attack.
Now that I think about it, I remember hearing about a base 120 special attack and speed.
Don't forget his base 130 defense and base 100 special defense.
That explains why Drake and Zinniers are so tough with that Mega Salamence.
Tell me about it. I think we've talked enough about Mega Salamence to do it some justice. I mean, we talked stats, we talked design, we talked abilities.
Alright, so you want to move on?
Well said. So here is our only other tie, and take a wild guess at what it is.
I don't know. Wait, I have to sneeze.
Blaziken!
Sceptile! Swampert! Well, that was very subtle.
So if you didn't figure it out, it's time to give the Hoenn starters some love.
Any person who looked on fan forums before Mega Sceptile and Swampert were released, they were the two most wanted Mega Evolutions for OS.
And we got him! Let's start with Blaziken, who is one of the first 6 Mega Evolutions revealed, alongside Absol, Mewtwo, Mawile, and Ampharos.
Blaziken gets his hidden ability Speed Boost, which raises his speed for every turn he is in battle.
This complements well with his base 100 speed, and his base 160 attack, and his base special attack of 130.
His defenses are kinda meh at only base 80, but because of Speed Boost, those low defenses do not really matter.
On the other side of the coin, Swampert is the most defensive of the Hoenn starters, with base 110 defense and special defense.
But it's not just a wall either, as it has a base 150 attack, which is equivalent to that of normal Deoxys.
Not only that, but Swampert has the incredible base 70 speed. Oh, wait, base 70 isn't a lot? Okay, what if I told you that you put Drizzletoad and Mega Swampert on the same team, and because Mega Swampert has Swift Swim, it gets a base 140 speed in the rain.
On top of that, it gives Waterfall more power than Hydro Pump, and on top of Stab gives Waterfall base 180 power.
Basically, if your opponent brings out a Mega Swampert in the rain, that's when you know you better have a Grass type on hand.
How about Mega Sceptile, who now gets a secondary type in Dragon, giving him Stab on Dragon Pulse and Dual Chop. Finally!
Sceptile also gets the ability Lightning Rod to complement your base 145 special attack, preventing Thunder Wave users from doing anything nasty to him, and allowing him to have the consistent base 145 speed.
He also gets a boost to his attack, making it base 110 now.
Which allows him to use moves like Leaf Blade and Dragon Claw reasonably well as the rest of his massive physical move pool.
The competitive preference, however, is Blaziken.
But Sceptile and Swampert are also very strong installments in the Mega Evolutions department, and that's why they're all on this list. So when fans first picked up their copies of X and Y, they learned quickly how overpowered Mega Evolutions were.
One of the biggest issues was the fact that Pokemon that were already very good competitively only were able to go even further.
At the center of this issue was Mega Mewtwo X and Mega Mewtwo Y.
These were the two strongest Pokemon in the game, as both had a base stat total of 780.
Fans realized that there was not a viable counter for Mewtwo, not even Arceus, who was at only a base 720. So something had to Mega Evolve.
Something that had super effective stab against Mewtwo, with at least a base stat total of 680 before going Mega.
And if you hadn't heard, we got a counter for Mewtwo. And it wasn't just a counter, it is now the most powerful Pokemon of all time.
That Pokemon is Mega Rayquaza.
As we mentioned, Mega Rayquaza has the insane base stat total of 780! Most of that into its base 100 and pillow-throwing 80 attack and special attack stats.
While it is high, let's put this into perspective. The highest attack of all non-legendary, non-Mega Pokemon is Rampardos' base 165.
The highest attack of all non-legendary dragon types is Mega Garchomp at base 170.
The highest attack and special attack of all non-Mega Evolved Pokemon is Attack Deoxys, also at base 180.
And Attack Deoxys, while much faster than Mega Rayquaza's base 115 speed, is a huge glass cannon.
Rayquaza can take a hit pretty well, but if you're slower than Rayquaza, you're screwed.
Why? Because Rayquaza doesn't need an item. All it needs to do is know the move Dragon Ascent.
And you'll want this Pokemon to have it anyways, as it is essentially a flying type version of Close Combat.
Also, need we mention just how amazing that design is? I mean, I don't think I could have asked for a better way to design Mega Rayquaza.
It really is a great design.
But with those insane stats and the new ability Delta Streams, which makes him have no flying type weakness, essentially giving him no weakness to rock, nor a 4 times weakness to ice, I guess there's a reason they needed a brand new tier just for him.
Next we have Raden's greatest fear.
Right alongside angry English teachers, angry chemistry teachers, and weird, creepy dreams.
Wait, what?
Never mind.
Whatever.
We have a Mega to face, the incredibly terrifying Metagross.
Now Metagross is already intimidating.
But when it goes Mega, it becomes even more intimidating and admittedly super cool.
But it also gets a lot of great battle properties.
The main feature of Mega Metagross is the 40-point boost in speed, allowing it to outspeed many formerly threatening predators, such as Infernape and regular Gengar.
But that's not all it gains, a well-rounded boost to other stats.
Like 20-point boost to each defenses,
And a 10-point boost to each attack stat.
while those 10 points to attack may not sound like much, it does get the ability Tough Claws, which we talked about with the Charizard X segment.
For those of you who don't remember, or for those who skipped up to here, Tough Claws boost contact moves by 33%.
Which means that moves like Bullet Punch, Giga Impact, Meteor Mash, and Zen Headbutt all get a huge power buff.
Now why does that moveset sound so familiar?
I don't know.
It sounds so familiar. That's not the Smogon recommended moveset.
Oh, now I remember. That's the moveset Steven uses with his Mega Metagross.
That's right, and that thing sure is tough.
Oh. Oh yeah, without the right moves and type combination, it is a severe threat.
Until you get to the point where you can one-shot it with whatever you use.
Yeah, right.
But plus this Mega is just terrifying.
There's a reason I fear Metagross, or rather reasons, plural.
But do you think it's time to move on to the actual number 1 spot of our countdown?
Oh yeah, let's do it. One of my personal biggest complaints against X and Y was its bias towards certain Pokemon.
There's one in particular you had an outcry against.
Yeah, Mega Gardevoir. Don't get me wrong, I do like Gardevoir, and it's not a bad Pokemon, and Mega Gardevoir is certainly excellent now due to Hyper Voice. But I was kind of offended by the fact that Gardevoir got a Mega, and yet Gallade, who's one of my all-time favorite Pokemon, didn't. When I saw Gallade didn't have a Mega, I demanded Game Freak make one to pay for its sin of not giving us Mega Gardevoir and Mega Gallade!
What was that?
Don't tell me.
I think your wish came true. Raden?
Yes! Where do we even begin with Mega Gallade?
How about design?
Alright.
So what appeals to you about the design?
I like how he's transformed from just a regular old Roman Murmelo gladiator to a full-blown soldier, if not a centurion.
I see that now. But what is all you mentioned?
Does no one here know Roman history except Rory? Okay. Murmelos were gladiators who usually fought with lightweight weapons and could move around very quickly. Centurions were officers in the Roman army who had up to 100 soldiers under his command.
Okay, I get it now. I also now get why you named your Gallade Centurion.
Yeah, though my competitively bred Gallade is named Rory after Rory the Roman from Doctor Who. Which just makes it that much cooler!
And that design is definitely not to be underestimated, like the Roman army.
Right. Gallade gets a 40-point boost to his physical attack, which gives him the same physical attack stat as Rampardos. Which means he's got the highest attack of all non-legendary psychic types, and the second highest of all fighting types right behind Mega Heracross.
But it also gains much needed boost to defense and speed. At 30 stat points each, giving him 110 speed and a base 95 defense.
And for an ability, well, he gets Inner Focus. It's not bad, it stops fake out spammers in VGC, and it also stops Air Slash, Iron Head, and Dark Pulse flinchers, but not much else about that.
But do we really care about that?
No!
Even with that, let's call it lackluster ability, it is still a very good Pokemon.
And don't forget about Wally's Mega Gallade, which was probably the only reason we have a Mega Gallade, but I don't care!
Is there anything more we need to say about Mega Gallade?
2 words. He's awesome!
Oh yeah, but I guess that Freaky Fresh wraps up this video.
Whatever you did, I don't know, but it definitely does wrap up this video. So, thanks for watching.
If you liked this video, let us know. Either leave a like or a comment.
Also in the comments, tell us what your favorite Mega Evolutions are.
If you are intrigued by this video, check out some of our other videos. Check them out and they should be on screen.
Ah! You have a creepy stare. I'll check on that.
Well...
Yep, they should be up there.
Great.
Oh, and don't forget to subscribe.
Other than that, see y'all next time.